Patricia Van Haren, family law attorney. What do I need to know about the Uniformed Services Former Spouse Protection Act? USFSPA. So, military pensions are subject to ERISA, and they're subject to federal laws. In cases of ERISA, that means that the federal laws will supersede any state laws on any legal matters. Divorces are always heard in state courts, and the laws of each state will determine what rights a former spouse has to military assets and marital property, including any pensions. In a civilian divorce in California, a spouse is entitled to receive 1/2 of all community property, including pensions from employment. Prior to the passage of the USFPA, this was not the case in a military divorce. Now, since that law has been passed, the military pensions can be divided according to state law, so long as they are done property. The first requirement is that the state court must have jurisdiction over the military pension. Jurisdiction over the pension may be different than the jurisdiction over the divorce. For purposes of dividing a pension, the service member must reside in the state, but the residence can't be based solely on their military assignment. They must be domiciled in that state, meaning that they must be living in that state at the time of the divorce, or they must consent to the state court having jurisdiction. So, how will I receive the pension? Some people want to know. Now, the payment of the pension is governed by the 10-10 rule. In order for a former spouse to receive their part of the pension directly from DFAS, they must be eligible under the 10-10 rule. This does not mean the spouse is not eligible to receive any funds from the retirement. However, the same streamlined process does not necessarily apply. It should be noted that the USFPA does not apply to disability retirement, and disability pay would not be subject to division under community property rights. However, it may be considered and included in any orders for child support or spousal support. If you're a service member or the spouse of a service member, it is imperative that you're working with a family law attorney that is able to provide you with guidance concerning the Uniformed Services Former Spouse Protection Act. Since the judgment in the military retirement orders requires specific language and forms to be completed during the final divorce process, you don't want to lose any rights that you would be entitled to, and you don't want to pay any more than you have to pay. So if you have any questions, email us or give us a call.